Cool. Let's jump into case study number 2. This is all about how to go about creating a new category the right way. This is another large company. So give us an understanding of kind of what you're up against with this one.
Yeah, this one was really interesting. So, very well-known software company that serves many different industries. They're both B2C and B2B. This company was developing a stronger vertical in healthcare. Now, it didn't have the best reputation in healthcare. I think at the time, it was easy to just really, it almost became like a cult to bash the company. So
Yeah.
honestly, Steve, here I thought I was going to really leverage the brand of the company and be really effective. But in reality, we weren't leaning on the brand equity that they had maybe in other industries. We were also building and had built a platform that solves some big challenges in healthcare, namely around interoperability. We wanted to distance ourselves and distinguish ourselves from other big enterprise systems that couldn't do what we were doing, but a lot of financial investments were being placed in there. And what do marketers love doing? We love creating new categories, but it's a very difficult thing to do. And so our approach, and we knew that we would need to do this, is we needed to make sure that there are other players, meaning we had competition, because that would help legitimize that we do have something unique here. And we needed to make sure that we had customers that could actually endorse and substantiate that, yes, what this company is providing or is a newer classification of healthcare technology. So we had to align all of this. It was an interesting process to reach out to 2 of your competitors and say, hey, we think that there is a new category of healthcare technology. We're uniquely different from these other big enterprise systems that say that they can do all of these things, but cannot. But we know that in order to get the analysts to recognize and to start reporting on this new category, we got to have other players, and you're the closest. And it was kind of an interesting process because 3 companies came together. We went out and we talked to some of our customers who were very genuine. They saw it as something unique in their organization that was solving a problem that other technologies could not. And we banded together. We went out to one of the top ranking analyst firms, specifically for healthcare, and we made a case. And they ended up writing a report on this newer technology and their use cases. And they interviewed some of our customers. They had the 3 companies in the category, and then they had like some secondary companies as well. And it was a little bit of a process to do that, but there was 2 things. One, I couldn't lean on the brand equity of the companies specific to this vertical. And 2, we had to have the courage to go, look, we know that we can't be the only company in this category, and there are others that are doing something similar. So let's just work together and may the best company win, ultimately, when we're in the market together.
That's interesting. So, I mean, one, I love the approach of just talking to your competition. That's unheard of in so many marketing campaigns. I'm also curious about the analysts. Now, analyst companies, my background isn't in healthcare, so I don't know the space, right? But the analysts who cover maybe more of the service industries or the software side of it, they moved into this like pay to play zone, right? So they have their regular business, with the whole, hey, this is church, this is state, they're 2 different worlds. And then, that's the other side is obviously the paid side. So, hey, if you pay us this amount of money, we will write a report and we'll co-brand with you. So how did you work with the analysts? Was it pure just, you were sharing information and it was up to them? Or was it more of a partnership with, you're essentially funding their research of what the category is that you were trying to create?
Yeah, this is, I think, one of those things that we all wonder about how analysts actually operate. But in having spent a lot of time with them, I think that they do try to make sure that there is a clean separation because it's going to destroy their business model. If buyers or the people whom they serve with their research start to doubt how that research came about and if there's been any influence because of money, it's no different than journalism.
Yep.
Are your biggest advertisers influencing what gets reported? Now, I don't know. There's a big question mark, and I've got a PR background, so I probably have a perspective on that. But I think the firm that did report on this ultimately, and then we had others that were coming in and poking around at it, they maintain high integrity as to how they keep those things separate. So did we pay for it? No, absolutely not. But it did take, this was kind of the long view. We had to approach them with other players. We had to get customers from very well-known health systems who would go on the record and say, yes, this is something new. Everyone's credibility is on the line when they're doing that.
Yep.
And I don't think anyone wanted to walk into it and have that tarnished, by no means.
Yep. So what was that journey like? Like how long did something like this take from understanding the category implications to working with your competitors to talking to the analysts? What did that look like?
It's about 6 to 8 months to do that,
Okay.
because once they were like, okay, we think that there's a there, and they had seen multiple demonstrations, they had talked to some of our clients, well, then they got to go out and they have to actually talk to the customer organizations and make sure that they're validating what these vendors or these tech players are saying. And so that kind of takes a little bit of time. And, there's always, follow-up reports and so on and so forth. But it did land. Some of the reporters, trade reporters came out, started looking at it. So they do their own investigations too. So it didn't just stop at the analyst. Then you get the reporters who are reading these reports and going, oh, I want to go explore this a little bit more. So then it just continues to roll out. So
Yep.
when you think of it from beginning to end, then you're starting to creep into a year and a half.
Yep. So fast forward in this story for the case, like 2 years later, what's the outcome? Was it, yep, we did it. We created a new category. It was legitimized, and all the other competitors, it was a little more traditionally competitive and that you weren't collaborating on it? What happened ultimately?
Well, ultimately, it helped us get into the door because these health systems pay attention to these reports. And so instead of us having to make a case and defend, the category itself and the research that had been done on the category was helping us just to be able to have conversations. What's interesting about that is the category is kind of morphed a little bit. So in this case, there was in this category, then it became the extensibility of it. And so there's offshoots based on use cases. Once you have a system
Yep.
like this in place, then it's starting to support other important initiatives within the healthcare community. And so you start seeing little offshoots from it. And so the category is actually morphed from this platform play to what are the various value-based use cases that came out of it. And then that starts a whole nother classification and different types of, niche players coming in.